Hey, everyone. Technical difficulties. My internet was down, so I couldn't get in. And so I think everybody's here now. Melissa, are you there?
Is Rita here? I'm not seeing her.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
here.
Where are you?
Right here.
Oh yeah, I'm right. We're next to each other on my screen.
Yeah.
And Melissa's trying to get back in.
There she is.
You see her?
Yeah, she's out in the bottom.
Becky, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, hang on one second. I gotta change my view. I apologize. Chris and I are a one laptop family. Where'd you go? All right, hold on one second. I need to change my view. Give me one moment.
Everybody keeps bouncing around.
For some reason, oh, there you are. Can you hear me, Becky?
Yes, and I'm just making you the co-host.
Okay, hold on. I just need to change my view.
Okay.
What's that? I might not be able to change my view, but I look to see who's here. Okay, I do apologize. Like I said, my husband and I are a one lap family. Okay. I don't know how to change my view on tablet.
Oh. So what
Hold on.
view are you on,
Settings.
Melissa?
Huh?
What view are you trying to get on gallery?
Gallery view.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just looking to see what the options are. I haven't used this version of
Can you see the participants on the side panel? Would that help?
if I click participants, I see them. Yeah, I can see the participants if I click on them. I'll just go with it.
Okay.
Becky, can I have if people are raising their hand or
Yeah, I'll try to assist.
if they're raising their hand or they're popping in, because I won't let anyone know. Don't that view.
And I'm on gallery, so I will try to assist.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I do apologize, everybody. The two of us need a laptop tonight, so I accessed a tablet. If it becomes a problem, let me know. We call her to order.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, well, I'm going to put the agenda myself so I can at least see that in real time. We're going through. So anyone have any estimates to the agenda they have to make additions or such?
No.
No. Okay, thank you. Okay, prop that over here too. All right. Becky, is there anything we need to add at all?
I'm sorry?
Is there anything we need to add at all to the agenda?
I don't think so. We might add the FERCog agreement, but I don't even have the final from FERCog. COVID grant.
The MOA?
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Was that MOA?
The MOA.
between FERCog and the town regarding the radios.
Yep.
So we,
Mhm. Yeah,
I-
okay.
I don't have an editable version and I think there were a couple corrections made to it, so that might have to wait till next.
Becky, I just had a question. Did you get anything from the Recreation Committee about new appointments?
I don't recall. I will search.
Okay.
Actually, I think I did. I think that's even, I will check.
Okay.
I didn't see them. So we'll add those if they did email.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Great. So we'll open it to public comment. This is, we can't spending raising their hand. So is there not the end it? You may unmute yourself if you have a comment. State your name,
Hello?
Linda, who in our minutes.
Hello?
John
hear me?
Montanari?
Yes. How long do I have?
We'll give you a couple minutes if you can,
Okay.
couple minutes.
Well,
But
I'll
go ahead and give us
read.
your comment.
Can everybody hear me? I'll read fast, okay? Here we go. I would like to
Go ahead,
express my,
Justin.
are we all set?
Yes, this is Linda Scott. I'm the secretary for the select board. John, I would just, if you're going to read a comment, it'd be really
course.
helpful if you'll submit it by email to the select board, so I'll have it for the record.
I plan to do that anyway,
Perfect, thank you.
but I would like everybody to hear it as
Yeah,
well.
yes, of
Okay.
course. Yeah.
Yes, all right. John Montanari, 202 Leverett Road. I would like to express my strong opposition to the presence of a Black Lives Matter banner on Shutesbury Town Hall. I realize that the
Hold on a
banner-
second. You keep bouncing. I'm gonna come in the house for a sec, just off this cover on my laptop, but go ahead.
Is
I'm
it me?
listening.
May I continue?
Go ahead.
I realize that the banner has been up there since June. I just noticed it while walking up to the special meeting earlier this month. And I apologize to both Becky and April for accosting them in such an emotional manner prior to the meeting and appreciate the opportunity to address the select board this evening. Black Lives Matter is not just a 3-word sentence affirming the obvious belief that Black lives indeed matter. Black Lives Matter is also a political organization with controversial published and expressed beliefs and with a history of contentious political action, such as that we see currently taking place in many American cities. During many of these actions, BLM protesters and advocates chant slogans such as "Death to America" and "F the police," celebrate attacks on law enforcement officials, such as the recent unprovoked shooting of 2 deputy sheriffs in Los Angeles, and participate in intimidation, violence, property destruction, and looting that the BLM leaders rarely, if ever, condemn. Quite the contrary. Here's an excerpt from a press release from Black Lives Matter Chicago dated August 9th, issued in response to Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot's condemnation of extensive looting that followed the police shooting of a criminal suspect who had fired gunshots at the officers while resisting arrest. You may recall images of so-called protesters breaking into stores along Chicago's Magnificent Mile and stealing TVs, apparel, and other retail items, then loading them into U-Hauls. Here's the quote. "When protesters attack high-end retail stores that are owned by the wealthy and service the wealthy, that is not our city and has never been meant for us. The mayor cannot expect people to play by her rules as she refuses to treat them with basic dignity. These protests can only end when the safety and well-being of our communities is finally prioritized. I could cite many other examples. This too is what the Black Lives Matter banner represents. But regardless of my opinion of BLM, my main point is that a public space like Town Hall is no place for any political statement, regardless of whether I, the majority of townspeople, or the select board agrees with it. Reviewing the minutes of the June 9th select board meeting where the decision was made to hang the banner, I was struck by how the personal opinions of the select board members played a strong role in the decision. That, as I see it, is not the select board's role. I'm extremely impressed with the dedication and professionalism that our select board members bring to their positions. But the select board is not the town's parent, teacher, minister, or thought leader. And town property is not the place for the select board to express its views. Frankly, I regard the banner as Shutesbury's in-kind donation to the Biden-Harris campaign, since their campaign promulgates the BLM narrative that American institutions, including the police, are systemically racist. I suspect that there are many in town, I'm almost done, including myself, who profoundly disagree and who think that that narrative is not simply wrong, but dangerous, especially to the police. For instance, according to Chicago Police Superintendent David Brown, attacks on police officers in that city are up 5 times over previous years. I fully support the use of personal space for the expression of opinions, including those with which I oppose, and would never live in a nation that did not guarantee that right. I'm angered by the recent stories of area citizens having their lawn signs stolen or vandalized. But especially in these highly polarized times, the citizens of Shutesbury deserve a shared public space without divisive messages, which is what I regard the BLM banner to be. In fact, given my strong opposition to Black Lives Matter, the movement, not the message, I regard the banner as an affront. If you and other citizens of Shutesbury want to express your opinions, you may hang a banner on your own properties, but not outside our town hall, our property. I request that the Black Lives Matter banner be removed from Shutesbury Town Hall. Thank you. Okay, any questions?
I have a response. I'm sure a lot of people have a response. My name is Melanie De Silva. I live
Yes.
on Wendell Road.
Are we going to discuss this? Am I here to receive responses or just to express my opinion?
The select board has to make a statement about that. I
Okay.
have something to say in response.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you're not
listening.
moderating this. Are you going to mute yourself?
I'm listening.
We can't hear Melissa.
Yeah,
Would you
Melissa?
like me to mute? I will mute myself. I will shut up.
I'm sorry, I'm muted. All right. Can everybody hear me? Because I'm having a little trouble with the microphone on my. This has been public comment, and I don't want to get into a political discussion. Jim was very brave to come here and to voice his opinion in opposition. I think that we live in a town that we should be able to. Can you hear, John?
You're
Breaking up.
the CD that's skipping.
Yeah, I can't hear you,
I'm
Melissa.
sorry. That's what I'm hearing too. So hold on one second. Let me call in. Let me call in. Hold on.
Okay.
1 second. 1 second. Give me 1 second. It's calling. It's coming. Hold on 1 minute. I just have to get my speaker. Apologize for that.
Entry participant ID followed by pound. Otherwise, just press pound to continue. You are in the meeting now. There are more than 20 participants in the meeting. This meeting is being recorded.
Can everybody hear me?
Hey, Melissa, mute your tablet.
Hold on a second. Is that
There.
better?
Yeah, that should work.
Okay, I want to always see too. So, this is what I would say.
Sorry about all our technical difficulty tonight, everyone.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
think
Becky.
she's talking, we can't hear her.
Becky, if Melissa's on the phone, she should mute her tablet so you don't get the feedback.
Can I do that?
You might be able to. Okay,
Melissa, I muted you now. So you got,
But
so
she
you should,
can't hear her.
Aye.
Melissa, do you want to turn this over to April?
We'll get this, we will get this worked out. You know, generally, what we use the public open comment is really for a comment and not, this is really not the time for a general conversation. This is a decision that the select board made in June. And I know Rita was not on the select board. That was Elaine, myself, and Melissa.
As you said, April, this is not a time for a discussion.
Exactly.
Explanation, it's a time for listening to the public by the select board.
That's right. That's right.
So if we can get back on that and just, if everyone can be mindful that it's expressing your opinion, it's not an interactive conversation. That's not what public comment is designed for. So if we could proceed with other comments, if that's okay with Melissa. Is that okay, Melissa? Can you hear me?
I'm not sure. So let's proceed with comments.
I agree.
Okay, and
And raise your hand.
Okay, I guess I'm done and I'll send you a copy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
it would be
Melanie?
wonderful if everybody could listen to each other's comments.
Okay. I stand corrected. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So Melanie, you had your hand up.
Yes, thank you for taking my comment. I just have a brief comment, and it is that to say that something matters is a very simple statement recognizing someone's humanity and basic, it's a statement of basic human decency. To say that Black lives matter, they simply matter. And, you know, I strongly, strongly support the banner being on the town hall. I think that any, you know, asking to remove the banner, which is, again, a basic statement of human decency towards a group of people who have been and continue to be oppressed and terrorized in this country, no. I 100% do not support removing the banner. I think that having the banner there was absolutely the right decision on the part of the select board. And institutional racism is a non-debatable fact. That's my comment.
Thank you, Melanie. Mary Ann?
We can't hear. It doesn't say she's muted, but
No,
we
we
hear.
can't hear you, Mary Ann.
So at this point, let's go.
Yeah, it's just somebody, Michael.
Person.
And if I don't see somebody, I'm not seeing everybody in one screen, but I did see Michael.
Hi there. So I would also strongly support keeping the banner. You know, being that I was part of the meeting or at the meeting when you guys decided, I thought it was a great decision and a strong and courageous decision. I guess I have a couple of thoughts. Just factually, Black Lives Matter is not an organization, it's a movement. Anyone can say their Black Lives Matter. And so we can own Black Lives Matter or Shutesbury as something as a value that we want to be. So I would say it's a value-based decision. We're not, by saying Black Lives Matter, you're not saying you support an organization or a political movement or anything like that. You're talking about values and humanity. I would say in particular, one of the great things about having Shutesbury do it is that Shutesbury is a vastly primarily white community. And so for white communities to affirm that Black Lives Matter is a really powerful message that I think it's our responsibility to be forward and say something like that. I guess also just as a former select board member, I think there's the idea that select board members can't say something's important. We make decisions, whether it's budgetary or policy, you're always putting values in there. This is just a little bit different. You're hanging something on the building that says this is a value that we as the leadership of the town think it's important to express. And therefore I support you guys in doing it. And I would hope that we would continue to do something. I guess the last thing I would say is, this is not normal times in so many ways. And this issue rising up, I think it's recognized nationally that this is a point of reflection for the entire country, if not the world. And if you don't step up at a time like this and say, this is something that's important and acknowledge it as such, we're really missing the mark. So thank you for doing it. And I hope you keep it up.
Yes, Mary Ann, do you want to try again? We can't hear you.
We still can't hear you, Mary Ann.
Okay. Lisa.
I've lived here over 20 years now, and the Black Lives Matters banner might mean different things to me than it does to other people. But I'm not sure. I think the meaning of the words are as important as the symbolism of the gesture. And so I'd rather not get involved in any debates about what someone else's slogan for their movement or non-movement, as the debate goes on, is about. I want to speak to how it's felt living in a town as segregated as Shutesbury for over 20 years. When the Monday after George Floyd's death, we had a vigil. The library organized a vigil, I believe. The library and some members of the town organized a vigil on the Common. I had already been here over 20 years, but it was the first time I really felt welcome and that I might be safe. Driving around the weeks after that and seeing Black Lives Matter signs sprout up, sort of like flowers blooming in the late spring, again, gave me more encouragement that if I had car trouble or needed someone to observe when I get pulled over and harassed by Shutesbury police, as is pretty common, I would feel safer because of those signs. And when I asked Rita, when I came to the celebration with what seemed like 100 people almost of the banner, I asked Rita, it wasn't Rita. Oh, sorry.
Maybe Elaine.
I think it was Elaine.
How long it would be up. I assumed it would be temporary because I knew it would be controversial. She said, it's going to stay. We didn't have a predetermined time. I broke into tears because I could not believe it, that a town that I felt had treated me somewhat less than welcome over the years would do something like that. So I guess I'll just finish because this is a bit more personal than I want it to be. Saying if you take it down, it has a meaning too. So while the select board is thinking about that, they need to think about not just who the sentiment represents or whether the debate over the phrase's meaning is the determining factor, or whether a majority vote has to be made at town meeting about whether it should stay. Think about what it sends, the signal it sends to not just me, but people driving through and people who put the signs in their yards. Do you have their back if their neighbors decide to vandalize their signs or their house? Does the town really have my back or not, is how I would see it if the sign came down. But on the other hand, just going back to the old normal for me.
Are there any other comments? I'm not seeing any hands.
Susie's hand is up.
Oh, Susie, yes, I see. Yes.
Hi. I want to recognize that the town of Shutesbury is a governmental entity, and it sits inside the state of Massachusetts, which sits inside the United States of America. And I believe we are connected to the politics beyond us because it's here. It's not beyond us at all. So I am glad that the town makes a statement that says we are here as part of a nation that has a fundamental problem to address. And we'll start off by having it on our banner, on our town hall, saying Black Lives Matter.
Melissa's going to try to jump in quick.
Okay.
Melissa, is it working? One second. It's not connecting. Okay, we'll go back.
Becky, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, I'm not gonna leave my phone. Hold on, I'm gonna shut it off. Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Good, okay. So what I wanted to say earlier was, I think it's important that we're having this conversation and that those who feel that the banner on the town hall is warranted and they support it. I also think we equally have to make sure that there are people in town that do disagree with that. I was one of the select board members that did not vote for it because I personally didn't want to politicize town hall. Having lived in a town for 44 years and not had political statements made so outwardly. But I also want to make sure in our meetings and in our doings that people like John feel equally as comfortable to speak an opposition to something as well as those that support something. So I just want to also make that as a comment to this. You know, his opinion is his own. Others have their own opinion, and to them, there are equal opinions for whatever reason they believe that. So I'm just offering that out, and that we remember when we have these conversations, and if someone does disagree, that we are all neighbors and friends, and we should respect each other's opinions in public forums and outside of public forums. So just kind of giving that as my statement. And again, I did not vote to put that up. I found it was too political myself, and have endured many calls of people who have opposed it. So there are those out there. But I do appreciate everybody coming and sharing their opinion though, as well. That's it. That's my, I don't know if you can still hear me. I'm hoping my technology is working okay.
I guess the question is there anyone else who wanted to make a comment?
It looks like Susan's hand has been up.
I'm Susan Millinger. I live on 135 Wendell Road. I also happen to be a member of the League of Women Voters, which prides itself on being a nonpartisan organization. I'm actually currently on the state board. And the national organization believes that racial justice is a nonpartisan issue, that systemic racism is a nonpartisan issue, and that therefore we all need to focus on what is a major national problem. Thank you.
Mary Ann, you want to try again?
Can I try one more time? Did it work?
Yes.
Yes? Look, you know, here I am doing my own IT in my car. So I had a couple of thoughts. So I was the person who proposed the banner in the first place. I don't remember where I got the idea to put up a banner, but I did. And at the time, I thought we needed a banner because I think that violence towards Black people is an emergency situation that's in this country. And I wanted to make a statement against that. I wanted our local government to make a statement against that. Racism has been a function of our government since the beginning of this, since the founding of the United States. And it's long past time for anti-racism work to become a function of government. And you know, despite the efforts of people all across the country to bring attention to racism and white supremacy, you know, we don't really seem to be making significant progress. So we need bold, decisive, clear statements and action. And I think that the banner is a bold, clear statement that racism and white supremacy will not be tolerated in our town. And you know, it's not unique. At the time when we put it up, I thought it was unique. I thought I was special for recommending it. And then all of these mayors across the country started painting 20-foot tall Black Lives mural banners on city streets. And so, you know, they're in Massachusetts, they're in Washington, D.C., they're in Chicago. Shutesbury is a small town, and this is a small gesture. So when we put the banner up, I can remember having a couple of conversations with people about how long the banner would stay up. And other people would say to me, until Black Lives Matter. And so I support keeping the banner up until Black Lives Matter, until Black people are safe in the United States of America, and until Black people feel safe driving through Shutesbury.
I just wanted to also make a comment relating to what you said, Melissa, as well, is that, you know, in many ways, our political views are very, very different, because I very strongly supported the banner. What I really appreciate about you and our select board is that we can have and hold these differences and still govern and still be able to compromise and to do what we need to do. And I appreciate that, because I think that's very important, to be able to have differences and disagreements.
Yeah. But do it respectfully and kindly. Treat each other nicely.
Yeah, respectfully. With respect, absolutely. And John, I appreciate your apology.
All right. Was there anybody else that had comment? Becky, I can't see both participants.
They're in the crowd.
Jason Santiago?
Yeah, sorry.
Jason, you can unmute yourself.
Thank you. I have to say, having lived in Shutesbury for almost a decade and a half, there wasn't a day I was ever prouder of being a member of this community than the day that banner went up. As the father of a pair of girls of color, I can't tell you how much it affected me to know that my community and my local government was willing to outwardly and publicly speak their support for my family. And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Becky, is there, for your comment, Becky, is there anyone else that is raising their hand or would like to make a comment that you can see?
No.
Just one tiny follow-up for me. I'm sitting on my back porch, open invitation for anybody here to join me at a distance over a cup of coffee, tea, or a glass of wine if they'd want to further investigate my views and give me the opportunity to investigate yours. 202 Leverett
Who was that
Road.
speaking? I'm sorry, I can't see everything.
This is John Montanari speaking again. I'm sorry. Okay.
Thank you, John. Okay, thank you. I appreciate all the patience with the technical difficulties, really do. Thank you for the invitation, John. I appreciate that.
Now am I done?
Thank you for staying, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. good session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. you
Can I
guys are
just ask a
amazing.
procedure question? Is that okay, Melissa?
Go ahead.
So will you be voting on this tonight?
I don't, there's no scheduled vote
Okay,
that I
all
know.
right. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
That was a really powerful discussion. Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, I think I'm you, Becky.
Oh.
I have, okay, I have to give you this little tidbit. My tablet thinks I'm driving.
Where are you? Actually, I don't see you now.
No wheels.
Where are you? There you are.
Again, now your video is X'd out. Oh,
Yeah, hang on.
there you are.
Okay.
It's been an
I'm
adventure.
gonna stop playing with it. I'm done playing with it. Okay. Oh, I know, technology, you know, as if my life hasn't gotten as complicated as it possibly could be. So are we moving on to open space?
Yes. Tonight, I'm requesting that you appoint Gail Fleischecker to the Open Space Committee. Now we have 2 members and a consultant, so they're ready
Are
to
they
go.
at quorum yet?
Gail, and Gail's
Okay.
here too.
Yeah. So I am move that we appoint Gail, how do you say, Fleischecker? Is that right? Fleischecker?
Gail,
To the Open Space Committee.
Fleischecker.
Fleischecker.
Think of shaking a fly.
Fleischecker. It's like April Steenstein. Yes.
And I second that motion.
Okay. Any further discussion or questions?
So you're up for another adventure?
Okay, all in favor?
She disappeared again. I guess we're voting.
Oh, yeah.
All in favor?
Stein, aye. Stein, aye.
Make peace, O'Neill, aye. Okay, I'm back. All right. The Historical Commission, Becky, appointments.
I'm gonna ask, is Linda here? Linda, I know a couple of the, do you have the final email on the Historical Commission recommendation?
Hang on, I did not see anything before the meeting came in.
Okay, that's what I was.
Yeah, no.
Okay, we did think they were zeroing in on it, but I guess not.
Shall we bump that to the next one then, next meeting?
Yeah, we're gonna have to bump it again.
Okay.
But let me since we did. Nope, sorry about that. No, we definitely don't.
Okay.
So that goes on to the next item on the agenda.
Becky, can I just interrupt?
So
you for a
review
minute?
the special town meeting is next.
So can I just interrupt for a second? So there was nothing from the Recreation Committee? I just understood that they were coming up with names because I had resigned, so.
So that would be BZ?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, there is. Melissa, can we go to the Recreation Committee?
We can.
And they are recommending, I would like to request, okay. Elaine Paleo be appointed to the Recreation Committee.
Okay. Would, do I hear a motion?
I'll move that Elaine Paleo be appointed to the Recreation Committee.
And I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Carol, I.
Stein, aye.
Roll call vote. Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
And there's a second recommendation for Barbara. I do not see her last name here. Barbara Bigelow. Also
Okay.
be appointed to the Recreation Committee.
Okay, do I hear a motion to appoint Barbara Bigelow, you said?
Yep, Barbara Bigelow.
So moved.
Okay. To
So
the
moved.
Recreation Committee?
So moved.
And second.
Okay, all in favor?
Carol, I.
Stein, aye.
Okay. Was there any other appointments, Becky, before we move on to review of special town meeting?
Not at this point. I know there's a couple of interested parties in Concom, but that's hasn't resolved itself yet. And so we're getting a lot of interest by people who have newly moved into town this year. It's wonderful.
I see that. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you'll see tonight with the planning.
Okay, so moving to special town meeting. So since it's a review, anyone offer thoughts? It was definitely interesting and well attended by the public.
Yeah, I thought it was very well attended, and that the conversation, I think Paul did an amazing job in facilitating that conversation. It did take a while. It did take a while. It did take a while.
Yeah.
It did, but it was good conversation. You're right. The ones that I would like to maybe in the future for special town meetings is to make the town clerk is ready for a paper ballot vote, more readily available, ready for paper ballot vote in case that heads to that direction. I know COVID did a little more difficult, and I understand that.
Yeah,
and
Melissa,
I think Paul asking the group was a good idea. But I just want to make sure that going forward, we'll be prepared for those.
Melissa, I think it was more a matter
Just my thought.
at annual town meeting, Board of Health I believe said that it wasn't even allowable. So that was kind of the background of the guidance that we had gotten at the annual town meeting because of, because of all the things, the touching and lining up and causing groups of people to form. So I think that was on the background. I think it was, COVID definitely was the cause. I think we could have found a way to do it if the people had wanted to spend the extra time.
Yeah, I just, going forward, if we just plan for that, just a plan, figure it out, maybe talk about it, because flu season comes, so, those things would be good protocol for flu season too. Any other comments or suggestions?
Yeah, I think Penny has her hand up.
Review?
If you don't mind, I'd just like to add the point that a request for the vote doesn't automatically result in a secret ballot, a written ballot. It does take 2/3 of the gathered people to make that happen.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we're always prepared to have it happen if that's the case.
Understood. Thank you.
Anybody else raising their hand, Becky, that you can see that would like to comment?
Nope. Okay. Not at this time. The special town meeting was, how about, was there any feedback that anyone did not feel comfortable with, that people were okay being outside, were okay with the distance that people maintained? I just wanted to check in on that.
I think
I didn't hear anything.
The only negative comments I heard.
Negative.
Okay. Thank you.
I heard negative comments about how long it took to decide whether or not it was going to be a paper or a voice ballot. That was the only negative. Nobody that I talked to had any sense of not feeling safe.
Okay. And the parking, we were very fortunate. There were actually more cars there at the special than at the annual. We forgot to do our push for people to ride their bikes and not use vehicles. So we'll have to remember that if we have another special under these circumstances.
Right.
Okay.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully we won't need to encourage people to ski.
Oh, goodness.
Well, who knows? It's an unusual year. 2020 is certainly one for the books.
Amen.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we move on to the illness policy draft? Unless anyone objects to moving on. Okay.
Pull that up.
Let me bring it up on my phone. All right. So, Becky, I thought this was really well done. Yep. With everything I've seen with the pandemic and working at Amherst is pretty much very spot on. So, does anybody have any questions or discussion corrections?
I just had a couple of comments. So some of it was just wording. So if you were someone in your living unit, that's sort of atypical. It's usually household, and I didn't know sort of if living unit was
I guess
some terminology that.
Yeah. Well, the reason I was going that direction is there's so many groups of college students that I guess they're households, but they don't operate like families. And I was just trying to find a way to express that because there are a lot of them, even in Shutesbury. But I'm happy to change it.
Yeah, you could maybe do /household.
Yeah.
Would probably. I think the other thing is just referencing the town's sick leave policy in that first paragraph.
Okay.
Because we have a policy regarding sick leave, and that just making sure that is referenced. And then I believe at our last meeting when we talked about this, the two things that we had mentioned was getting a Board of Health review of this policy, and I assume that's going to happen after.
Yep.
Okay. And then that we were going to incorporate places to be tested. So that was in our minutes. And I don't know if that's realistic at this point.
Maybe because the testing sites are oftentimes, they move around, maybe a location to find a testing site.
So that maybe we just reference, how do you find a testing site? So where would you go to find out that information? Is there a central point? I don't know, does the Department of Public Health, or does our Board of Health have that?
The governor's updates give directions, but this whole situation has been fluid. They had up to first 10 and 20 free sites that were available. And then those you can go to, if you don't have health insurance. Our employees have health insurance for the most part. So they can go to their local provider can guide them.
So maybe just mentioning that, since we said we were going to incorporate that, please check with your physician regarding your medical provider.
I should probably list a couple of the common places that have been open throughout,
okay,
as guidance. Okay, I'll make those changes and go to the Board of Health. I just wanted to have a first look at it in case, I was fully on track. And Linda has a comment.
Yeah, I just had one quick one, which is where you list the lower risk states. I was going to suggest that maybe just providing a link to the state site where those are listed, because they may change.
Yeah, they do change.
And so, you know, it seemed helpful to not have static information on that.
Actually, maybe I would prefer if we notate those states at this point in time with a, you know, with that link below it saying, for an updated one, please go here.
Sure, that makes sense. So you'll want to add Vermont, Washington, and Wyoming.
Wow, that's great.
And I'll also put as of and maybe the date that was signed.
Yes.
Now here's a question, Becky, just a question. Should there also be a illness advisory post-COVID for other things like the flu and such? Could there be some sort of a policy for that as well, or no? Just tossing the idea out. I'm not necessarily committed to it, but just thought, you know, in general.
I can't think
Something
that
to
far
think
yet.
about. Doesn't need to be decided on now. Is just tossing the thought out there.
No, it's a great thought. I'm not
Right. Because flu season, you know, is coming quickly.
Yeah, I guess in general, people should not come to work if they're sick.
Exactly.
I mean, it routinely happens in my office.
Sometimes people need guidance in that.
Yeah, but you know, it's a disservice to other employees when people come to work sick. They should not come to work sick.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
There were many people.
Having worked in the area that I've worked in, people come to work sick all the time because it's easier to come sick than it was to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then there's a snowball.
So maybe something to
effect.
think
When
about for the
everybody
future.
else gets sick, then everybody else pays for it, for one person's thoughtlessness.
Yep.
Yeah, and we do have ways to work from home if the illness is not, you know, if you're not completely bedridden.
Right.
People can maintain, most of us can maintain some semblance of what we're doing.
And we have a sick leave policy too.
Exactly.
So, you know, that's why you have sick leave, is in order to use it when you're sick, not to come to work when you're sick, so you're not using your sick days. Doesn't.
Exactly right, Rita.
You're right. And I have had trouble with that my whole life.
Yep.
Yeah, I have too, trust me.
Well,
I've
maybe-
worked in the admission office with pneumonia twice.
But maybe this is the pandemic will have taught us that it's really, if you're sick, stay home. It's okay. It's not being a hero. It's actually
And we now
covered.
have technology that if you're sick and you want to keep working at home when you're sick, go ahead. But don't
Have
come
at
in and spread your germs to other people.
Right. Have at it.
Okay. All right, so I will bring this back after the Board of Health reviews it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I muted myself. There was a car going by. So the select board article for the town newsletter. Becky, when is it due?
I think
Friday, September 25th.
And this is covering from, when was the last one we wrote?
It was in the spring.
Of this year.
Of this
Really?
year.
This
Yeah.
year,
It
okay.
was in the spring.
2020.
Yeah. It was right around the time when you all were making the decisions about tax payments.
Oh, yeah.
All right, that's right. Well, I wouldn't mind.
So in
sending
the
out a
past,
draft.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
April, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I wouldn't mind just sending out a draft and people can play with it, or if people want to just send in their pieces and then they get pieced together.
So are you volunteering to draft it, April, and then get comments back from us?
I think I am.
Okay. So that
I would
that,
love to think I'd do something like that, but right now I don't think I could.
Draft
it.
Exactly.
So just in keeping with the open meeting law, so we just give comments back to
Becky.
April individually,
No,
doesn't
no,
get
to Becky.
circulated, and then it's up to you, Becky.
No,
So you-
it all goes back to Becky.
Okay.
I think planning board members are beginning to arrive.
Good. I can't believe we're on time.
Okay, but do we come to an agreement that that's how we're going to handle it?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
You'll have your turn. Okay, say 9.
Okay, so then the next agenda item, Melissa, is appointments of the planning board by select board and planning board.
Yeah, we're moving on to that one. I will have you guys to help me with this because I can't see everybody. And remind me how many we have. Remind me how many we have on the roster for shooting.
Okay.
Do you mean you're currently on the planning board?
Hey, Melissa, can I chime in for a minute?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the first order of business is just for you and Deacon maybe to figure out how you want to run this so it's not crazy, because we have 2 chairs and 2 committees and we're making one vote of our collective group. So that might be a helpful
we have
process.
tech issues.
Yeah. Well, we get to see you in 2 different windows, which is really cool.
Deacon, are you there? Can I can't see you. I don't know if you just recently joined, but no, he's not there.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, there's. I don't see Deacon yet, no.
Okay. Oh yeah, I just checked my participants. I see me. All right.
I think Deacon's still riding the range trying to round up some planning board members.
Okay.
I think his truck should be full by now.
In the meantime, do we want to do a set of minutes while we're waiting for Deacon and other members here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes from September 2nd, 2020?
So moved.
Second.
And is there any additions, corrections? Someone just popped in. Additions, corrections, or comments?
They're very thorough.
They're awesome.
Okay, yeah, they are always. Thank you, Linda and Becky.
Welcome.
Always our thanks. All in favor?
Carol, aye.
Stein, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. Okay. Are we closer by chance? Let me just look at the.
I still do not see Deacon.
Okay.
So I guess it'd probably be good if maybe I can try to explain. I know, Melissa, last night, April and Rita were at the planning board meeting and met I think 4 of the candidates.
Too much, too loud.
And I'd also like to remind people that if you can always mute if you have noise going on behind you. But it would be great, maybe Jeff or Robert, if you could introduce the candidates that are still right now. So at least the select board is at least Melissa can know who they are.
I did read the information that we had for them.
And I also wanted to thank you for having the video of the meeting where Mary David had spoken, because she was not able to be there last night.
Right. Thank you.
He did write a statement that maybe, that I saw, that maybe some of the planning board members saw, a statement today saying that she was still with her family, but she wrote a short statement outlining her continued interest. Is that something that everyone has seen?
No.
I've seen it, yeah.
Could you forward that to select board?
Okay.
That earlier this afternoon.
Jeff, you could probably read it. It's not that long.
Yeah, or Jeff.
I probably could
Okay.
if I could get it here. Let me look for it.
I could read it if you want.
If you have it in front of you, go for it.
Yeah, would this be, you want me to just start now? You guys okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. Dear board, my name is Mary David. I have recently retired and moved full-time to my house in Lake Wyola. We are now on our 4th generation enjoying the lake. I was a nurse for over 40 years. My specialty was critical care, emergency department, trauma, and nursing administration. I worked as a critical care nurse, educator, director, and vice president of nursing. I have served on hospital boards and served as a volunteer on various national committees. I have also been part of a team that designed, planned, and built and moved into a new state-of-the-art hospital. Most of my experience has been in healthcare, but I believe my knowledge and skills will translate well to working with my community. I have been interested in the planning board and the conservation committee. I am committed to learning more about my community and how we work together to preserve the area for future generations. I am very interested in volunteer opportunities and finding a way to support my community. I am looking forward to sharing my knowledge and learning and developing the skills needed to serve on these committees. Thanks for considering me for this opportunity, Mary David. I think the other thing, I think, since I got the floor, just my understanding of the process is so the full select board is here. So you guys have 3 voting members. I don't think the full planning board will be here. So Linda Rotundi, I think, is not going to be here. And it sounded, oh, Robert's here. That's right. So that's great. But whoever's present, I think each of us gets a vote and we vote as one combined unit as opposed to 2 committees. So I think it'll be up to Melissa and Deacon to figure out how to orchestrate that. But I think that's the goal. And then the majority, whoever gets the majority becomes the person on the planning board through June 30th.
So do you have a quorum?
Not yet.
Not yet. We
So you
need
can't
one
really
more.
vote, can you?
We haven't even opened the meeting yet.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a vice chair.
Well, I would suggest everybody have a vice chair in case you have technical issues or anything.
Yep, I think that's a reasonable thing.
Well, we had one last night, a temporary vice chair. Steve Bressler filled in for
There's
Deacon.
a chance you're
Becky's on the phone. Okay.
It seems like you can't make a decision like this without having a quorum.
We can't make any decision without a quorum.
It's all hinging on you. Okay. The meeting password, okay, is 47, small w, large M, 1, large Q. Yeah, capital Q. Okay, so let's, could you, why don't you try,
And Melissa, you got any more minutes?
All right. Oh, that didn't help. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I'm struggling here. Okay. Did we have a quorum now? Is Deacon in?
No. I think he's trying to get in.
Okay.
It appears.
For those of you who just joined, we're having some technical issues today, mainly on my end.
I think it's the weird sky is causing this. You know, the smoke in the sky.
Might be. Certainly not the candle tower I'm sitting in front of. While we're waiting, I'll show everybody. See?
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's nice.
All right. Yeah, I pulled out the Civil War lantern so I'd have light out here because, you know, we don't do those things. Why would you need outside?
Right, and you like this weather. I know that.
I love this weather. I've waited all summer for this weather. I'm literally sitting here in a sweatshirt, capris, and no shoes on.
Oh my goodness.
just so you guys are updated, Deacon is going to drive up. We couldn't get him going. I'm not sure why, but he's on his way.
So can we go to the next agenda item and then?
I think that's a good idea.
Instead of sitting and waiting.
Yeah. And I'll watch him. I'll tell you when he goes by my house.
Okay. So why don't we move on to status of reopening plans? So this is kind of a routine thing for us. Becky, are we kind of at status quo basically for right now? How's Town Hall doing?
Town Hall is doing pretty good. We're trying to plan for the next bout of elections, the November elections. And because of the impending cold weather, we're making sure that people will be comfortable coming in and out of the building. And like I told you before, I'm still, I'm getting more quotes on the air energy exchanger. We currently have a heat exchange unit, but it doesn't turn over the volume of air significantly. So this new unit would do that, and I can fund it with CARES money. So it's important to get that done so that the downstairs area will be comfortable for people to work in and to go through as they place their ballots. We also had, oh, here's Steve Bressler. So,
Oh, we lost, Jeff might still be there. We have a quorum, we just don't have a chair.
Yeah. Haven't seen him go by yet.
I'm still here working on other stuff, but hoping Deacon can join.
okay. The library has ordered their air exchange unit, which will also have a HEPA filter in it. So they are anticipating opening to a limited degree. I think they can have 2 or 3 people max in the building at one time. So that's going to be happening in the next few weeks. And as you know, the schools are continuing to prepare. I believe they started this week. I mean, they're still distributing units and computers and packets for all the students. And parents can probably tell you more about it than I can at this point. But I know they're not opening the preschool and kindergarten like they are in Amherst but they will be reconsidering those issues ongoing through this stretch. And they have a meeting I think this week or next week to discuss reopening. So we are cautiously moving forward. Thanks to the police, I think we have an half outdoor indoor space to handle early voting. The police are going to move out the vehicles from their garage, and we'll be able to turn it into a voting booth for early voting. And we'll get, I was going to talk to Walter about the electric heater we want to put in there and make sure that's going to be safe to keep people warm and out of the weather, but still feel the safety of a lot of airflow. So that's the newest breakthrough on what we're doing about elections. But it's a ton of work, as Susie can attest to, preparing for getting all the ballots out for November. That's what I have on reopening.
He just went by. He'll be there in about 4 minutes. It's going kind of fast.
You were serious. You're in
I was serious. I've gotten used to it, but this is my work office now, and I get to see who drives by. It's been fascinating.
In the big city.
In a big city,
That's
yes.
awesome.
I hope the cops aren't out.
Okay, so Becky, do you want to fill us in on some town administrator updates on really just did? Are there any other town administrator updates that we need to think about or hear about?
Melissa, I think you did it and Walter's here, so maybe it'd be a good time to talk about the radio MOA. And maybe turn that over to Walter.
I will turn it over to Walter. Walter, I am having technical issues. Becky and I are tag teaming Zoom right now. So go ahead if you can unmute yourself and talk about the MOA.
All right. I'm not sure who attended the virtual public forum. I believe Melissa was there that night. I don't know if anybody else was. It was Becky, good, okay. It was I think a fairly well presented, straightforward presentation of why we're looking at redoing the MOAs, the Memorandum of Agreement between the FERCOG, the FCECS, which is the Franklin County Emergency Communication System Oversight Committee, and the towns, the end users of the radios. And also they addressed the new MOAs between the FERCOG and the Executive Office of Technology, Security, and Safety, yachts. This is in moving forward in the new radio system that we were looking to put in we're looking to phase out the radio system that we built about 15 years ago for Franklin County for public safety, police, fire, and EMS, as it's an aging system. It's all the components are end of life. It's not supported anymore. Just quick background, we had studies done to see what we should really do. Two best options were, one was to rebuild our own system, which was going to end up costing us for user fees about 3 times what we're paying now. Cost about $10 to $15 million to rebuild the whole system and have to probably be doing that in another 10 to 15 years. Or the other option was to move to the state's 800 megahertz, what they're calling COMIRS now, which is the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Interoperable Radio System.
Yes.
We had public forums last year, couple of them, and pretty much everyone across Franklin County voted that that's probably the best way we should be heading. And it was one of those things that instead of hurry up and wait, it was we were waiting and waiting and waiting, and all of a sudden now things have turned around where we've got to kind of hurry up. Things are happening really quickly. for us to get, the money has already been there. It's in the hands of EOTS through a 911 grant. They're not going to release that money for purchase of radios, which every fire department, police department, certain EMSs in Franklin County are going to get the radios bought for them through this grant. So that's something that we don't have to do. Thank goodness, because these radios, portable radios, are in the $2,300 range, and mobile radios are that also for the base models. But before they'll release that money, the town has to, they want to have FERCOG be the sole point of contact from EOTS to them, between them and the towns. So we had to redo the MOAs between all the towns, the end users, and FERCOG, and then also a new MOA between FERCOG and EOTS stating that they will be the sole point. And it states all the responsibilities, everyone, what COMERS or what the state EOTS has to be doing, what FERCOG has to do, and so on. And same thing between the towns, what the responsibilities of FERCOG are, what the responsibilities of the FCECS are, and what and responsibilities are for the users. I think they were available to us in written form also. I believe, hopefully you've got those. If you haven't, let me know. I can forward that to you so you can look at them. The next step is to get those approved. And I did notice that it wasn't on the agenda for tonight, so I did send an email to Becky and the select board to say hopefully it gets on one of the next meetings, because the goal is to have those approved and signed and returned back to FERCOG by October 15th. That keeps us on our schedule of moving ahead. So then we have to actually apply for a non-competitive grant from EOTS to get the money to start purchasing the radios. And we're hoping all that can be done and be able to start purchasing radios sometime in December or January to keep us on schedule for doing the whole migration, because the way this works is all the radios for Franklin County have to be purchased no later than June 30th of 2021. So that gives us, from the time that we're able to do it, purchase, 1,300 different radios or more and get them to the right towns and programmed and cataloged and identified who's getting what radios and all that other stuff. So there's a lot to do. So this is the first step in making that move forward.
Great, thank you, Walter. Deacon is here now, Melissa, and Steve Bressler. So 5 of the 7 planning board members are all here.
5 or 6.
You only have 6.
You're short. Well, 7 to be. Right. Melissa, are you still here? Melissa, if you can unmute.
There we go. I'm sorry. So let's make sure before, I do want to sure we put the MOAs on our next meeting so that we can approve and sign them so that Walter has the time.
Yeah, and I also want to mention, Walter, that the version we have is not editable. So we do need to get the editable version so that we can make it sure it's for Shutesbury. So I'll be working on getting the right contract for the select board to review and sign.
Okay, did those come out this week? Because I know they're supposed to redo them after the meeting and send.
That I've seen.
Okay, I'll talk to Dan tomorrow about that.
That'd be awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't see him. Okay, Deacon. How are you doing? Thanks for coming to the town hall.
Well, it's a tribute to my technological incompetence.
Well, I'm having some issues right now with my tech too. So
I'm glad we worked it out.
I'm feeling a little inadequate. Becky and I have been tag teaming along with April to get the meeting going and continuing. So you and I have to figure how we want to do the voting with our committees together. Have you opened your meeting yet?
No, we have not. Why don't I do that now? I'll open our meeting now.
Okay, Go for
have
it.
a quorum. I thought that we should start by having a short discussion about what we were looking for in a candidate before we actually started to vote.
I think that's a good idea. And I have the names of them. How do we want to do voting? Michael reminded us that we have 3 people to vote. You have several people to vote, but you vote as one body.
No.
No.
We.
We're
Oh, did
we
I
are
misunderstand?
collective.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're collectively one body, so we're not 2 committees. It's just 9 people voting.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I misunderstood that with the delays. Thank you very much.
But we've all had a lot of trouble.
So we will have to figure out how to do this, Deacon.
Yeah.
And you have 5 different people to vote.
We have 5 candidates,
5
yes.
candidates to vote about.
Yes, so I don't know. One thought that I had was that we might want to do a ranked choice procedure because I don't know that anybody's going to get a majority on a first round.
We had a similar situation on the finance committee, and we just ended up doing a first vote to see where we came out.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ended up working out without going to the complexities of ranked choice voting. I don't know what.
And so
Becky, you also didn't have COVID interfering with that, I'm sure. And virtual.
I think we had, but yeah, it was similar, but
yeah.
However you want to do it.
Well, I'm not sure that my opinion is the opinion that should prevail. I mean, should we follow Becky's experience and just do a first round and see if we have a majority?
I think that's a good idea. We'll have to do roll call vote, right? So
yeah.
Yes.
Because I can't see everybody. I mean, we could raise their hands. I can't see any, but we probably should have it on record. So, and I have the name written down here, not in any order, but I'm willing to come off as people say their names as they vote.
Yeah.
And we can see, I think a first round is a good idea.
One thought I had too was that to the extent that the meeting last night was run, I did it. I was thinking maybe you should run this one. Because this is really this is your regular meeting.
You're joining us. But I also wanted to get back to the, just a brief synopsis is what is it that what the planning board is looking for?
Well, April?
Yeah.
I want to talk about that. I just want to make, before we get into the weeds of the what, it seems like clarifying the how, just because it makes sense. Like, I mean, I think, if Melissa runs a meeting, even though she can't see us, since it's really a select board meeting we're embedded in. And my personal opinion is trying what Becky did make sense. If it's, if we have, say, 2 people, they get 3 votes, that we then do a second round with those 2 top vote getters kind of thing. That might be the second step if we run into that. But, I like the idea of ranked choice, but I think people define it differently. It's more complexity. So if we don't need to do that, maybe best to avoid it.
Okay, Michael, I agree with you. And I don't mind being the one to do this. So how about if we do a brief synopsis and the names of the people that are wanting to be appointed, and then we'll start roll call voting. Does that feel comfortable to everybody? Or Deacon, does that feel comfortable?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. I have a list of the names that I could read off. Would you like me to do that?
I do have them written down. I have Mary, Dave, Nathan, Murphy, Alan Hansen, Henry Geddes, and Veronica Ritter.
That's the same list I have.
Good. A good start. Good start. So can, like April asked for, just a quick synopsis of what you're looking for in a candidate. And before we go there, I'm really impressed that we have so many candidates to pick from.
We are all quite astounded.
And it's a difficult choice.
Yeah, I know, huh?
You know, each person brings something different to the table. That's why I you know, hearing what you were looking for would help. How to balance what you've got.
Yeah. From my point of view, the most important thing is attendance. In special permit situations, it's really difficult operating with people who can't attend meetings, and that's and I think that my sense is that we've been assured by all the candidates that they will give good attendance, and that's really number one for me.
Okay.
I think that I think that the experience factor is not as important as it might otherwise be. There's plenty of knowledge contained within the planning board. We welcome giving the opportunity to people without the kind of experience that they would gain on the planning board. I'm sure other people have other opinions about what they're concerned about.
Oh, most of you can't see me raising my hand. Sorry.
Right, sorry, that's like just jump in. Go ahead, Michael.
Okay. Well, first, I just want to, again, appreciate Deacon, because I think framing it this way is really helpful in terms of what the committees are looking for, so that it's less personalized and more how do we advance the board. I think for me, there's three things. The first one for me really is a sense, having someone who has a sense of the town, which, people who have some history with the town and knowledge of the various perspectives. We don't all agree on things, but I think we have a good sense of what the different issues might be and where we came from, because part of what we do, the policy part of planning board, is the looking forward, whether it's the master plan. So while I fully appreciate that people want to participate to learn about the town, for me, it seems like having someone who understands some of what the town is about right now would be important. I think connected to that, I asked a question yesterday about sort of a sense of what the issues are, and having people who understand that, issues related to planning and policy are really, and can appreciate that. And I guess the third thing is what Deacon said, not only attendance, but really just a willingness and ability to participate actively, both in the meetings and, the research and things like that. So to sort of a roll your sleeves up kind of person. Jeff, you're next.
Okay.
Mike?
This is a one-year appointment, and whoever gets appointed has to decide after a year whether they're going to run again. That they may run again and be opposed, but it's a one-year to fill in the gap appointment. But it's going to be a busy year for the planning board, not only with the solar issues, but also with Article 5 type stuff, residential developments that we see on the horizon. So it's going to be a busy year. I frankly look for people who can help me outside of the planning board, work on special projects, drafting permits, things like that. That's where a lot of the work gets done, and I've appreciated Michael's assistance in that regard. I would like to have more board members who would be willing to assist on projects like that. So someone with a work ethic that would show up at the meetings and be willing to work outside of the meetings would be something that I would look for.
Bob has his hand up. if you can.
Go ahead.
Robert, you're muted. Yeah.
Robert. I appreciate the thoughts that have been shared. I know one thing that came up for me, I guess it was in meeting Nathan, I just had the thought go through my mind, boy, he's young and new to town. Would those be good characteristics? And then I was just wondering, well, what characteristics are appropriate to consider? And I looked at the handbook for Massachusetts selectmen, and one point made in the selectmen choosing a candidate is looking at diversity, such things as age, a length of time in the town. And so I think diversity is something that's appropriate to consider.
This is Steve. If I'm not on mute, no, I'm not on mute. I actually agree with Robert. That would be something that I'd like to see as well. I think it was Michael who pointed out last night, if you look around the planning board, there's not that much hair collectively. Now that's not criteria.
Wait a minute, come on.
Compared to other boards, you guys are doing pretty good.
So, let me just say, as Robert used the word diversity, that would be the word that I would bring to the table. That for me, that is important on the board.
Thank you. All right. Did anyone else have comment? Again, I can't see everybody, so I'm asking for assistance with Becky or April. Is there anyone else that wanted to make a comment?
I don't see any.
Okay, perfect. All right. So if we're ready to do a first round of voting, shall we start on that? Deacon, do you feel like we're good on that particular start the voting?
I think so.
Okay. So roll call votes, because we can't see everybody, and we're not in a room with them. So the first one I have written down is Mary David.
Oh, you want to do it by people as opposed to us saying who we want?
Well, yeah. Okay, we could do it that way too. That's fine.
call
Go
on
ahead.
us. Yeah, call us.
I can't see you, so I'm going to have Becky. Can you call on people?
I have
please?
a list. I'm going to start.
And I will write them down. I will check off the people for.
I'll call Steve Bressler.
I'm here. I don't need to vote for myself. I'm already on the board. No. Actually, I would vote for Nathan Murphy.
Okay.
Okay, next, Michael DeCara.
Oh, goodness. I was recently, well, I think I would vote for Henry Geddes.
Okay, Robert Raymond.
I would vote for Nathan Murphy.
Okay, Jeff Lacy.
I vote for diversity, and since Alan Hansen is older than the rest of us, I vote for him.
Okay, I'm gonna switch it up, Deacon, just when you thought I was gonna say your name. I'm gonna say Melissa.
Nathan Murphy.
April.
Veronica Richter.
Okay, and Rita.
Veronica Richter.
Okay. Deacon.
Mary David.
And is that everybody?
I think we have a winner.
I think Nathan has 3 votes.
Murphy. Yep.
Congratulations.
And Veronica.
Veronica has 2.
The whole family celebrates. Yeah.
Great.
Congratulations, Nathan.
Yeah.
I can't see you, but congratulations.
How old is your baby?
Wade is 16 months old as of a few days ago.
Before we celebrate, or could we hold up a second? Deacon has a point to make.
Well, I'm wondering, are we looking for a plurality or a majority?
Majority, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a good question. Let's not get too excited.
Okay, so we have Nathan has 3 votes. Veronica Richter has 2 votes. And the other, so that's 5. And the other 3 each have 1 vote. So I guess we would do a second round of voting between Veronica Richter and Nathan.
I don't know if I said it the wrong way, but I was under the impression whoever got the most votes would be the person who was the candidate.
And I think
me too.
I think
That was my understanding. Do we have,
Do we have the text?
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, unless it was split like 2, 2, 2, 2, and 1, which it's not. Did I say that right? 2, 2, 2.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. Say that one more
I
time.
said I thought the same thing that everybody else thought, unless we were really split like 2, 2, 2, 2, and 1. If the votes fell out that way, where it wasn't that there wasn't a clear majority, then I thought we'd do a second round. But there is a clear majority.
Okay, but just to be sure that we're technically correct, can I ask Linda to read the chapter and verse we're following?
you have to unmute.
Unmute.
Hold on, I just have to get it.
Thank you, Linda.
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't specify whether you had 2 candidates or 5 candidates.
Right, and does it say anything about majority or plurality? Because
Okay, you ready? It just says, all right, if there is a vacancy in a board consisting of 2 or more members, except a member who's, well, never mind that part. The remaining members shall give written notice thereof within 1 month of said vacancy to the selectmen, who with the remaining member or members of such board shall, after 1 week's notice, fill such vacancy by roll call vote. The selectmen shall fill such vacancy if such board fails to give said notice. It just goes on to say that the person, so it just says a majority of the votes of the officers entitled to vote shall be necessary to such election. The person so appointed or elected shall be a registered voter of the town.
it said majority.
It said majority
It
of.
says majority, yes.
So we have to reach a majority of the 8 voting members.
A majority of the votes of the officers entitled to vote shall be necessary.
Okay, so we need at least 5 votes. Right.
So should we do
Or
a
a
second round
candidate.
or should
So
we
why
do-
don't,
So
if we
So-
go back through with those 2 people and have everyone vote for either Nathan or Veronica Richter?
Becky?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why don't, since
Michael, I think you're trying to say something.
I am, rather than,
Go ahead.
well, I guess I made that suggestion that we get the 2 top vote getters. I was going to say we just do a whole nother round knowing that well, we can do it with those 2. That's fine.
Well, what, I mean, if we just did another round, as you were starting to suggest, and just let people change their votes as we will, we wouldn't have to decide.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to change my vote, so that gets.
Yeah, well, me too. Me too. So, I mean, my suggestion would be to agree with you, with your first view, that we just have another round.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. We could do another round. We could do all the full ones, all 5,
Yeah.
or are we gonna do just the top 2? Just want to just to
Oh,
clarify.
all five, and people get to change their votes.
Or not.
Or not, yeah.
You could vote exactly
Right,
the same
okay.
way.
Alan has his hand up.
Alan?
Yeah, just a quick comment. Just to say I'm perfectly, I think a new person in town on the board would bring a lot of new ideas and new thoughts, and I'm perfectly happy with that.
Okay.
Becky, you
Okay,
want to roll
Lisa?
call us?
Let's just do another roll call.
Yeah, Becky, you want to call us?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, can you, and I'll track them again, Becky, but go ahead and, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna call on Steve Bressler,
Nathan Murphy.
Michael DeCara,
Nathan Murphy.
Robert Raymond,
Nathan Murphy.
Jeff Lacy,
Nathan Murphy.
Deacon.
Nathan Murphy.
I think we already hit a majority. Melissa?
Nathan Murphy.
It's a landslide.
April.
I'm going to stay with Veronica Richter.
Okay, and Rita?
And I'm going to stay with Veronica too. This was not planned.
Okay, well,
It wasn't.
we have a majority vote, 6 for Nathan and 2 for Veronica Richter.
Great.
Bravo.
Good, congratulations.
Congratulations.
I think we had a lot of really good choices, and it's wonderful seeing new people come to town and get involved with their little baby. I think my kids were about that age when I started in town politics. They're in their 30s now.
So Nathan, your big
Time on the planning
decision.
board, and Nathan can have gray hair too.
Yeah, I was going to say his big decision is he can either dye his hair or shave his head, one of the two.
I've already got some white going in my beard here, so it's ready to start, coming in hot with the silver.
Congratulations, Nathan. I have to go to another meeting, but thank you.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you, Nathan.
So
Thank you, everyone, for your
Nathan, you'll have
support.
to get sworn in by the town clerk before we have our next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so you want to call her at 259-1204 and set up an appointment.
That sounds good. I'll get in touch with Grace, and in the meantime, if there's any, once I do that, I'll kind of send a blast out to the email, and if there's any work that needs to be looked at, I'll be available.
Okay.
Nathan, I'll add your email to the planning board list so that if we get anything, you'll see it.
Beautiful. I probably should create a new email or something.
Yeah, I'll send you the format that's suggested. We hang up, so it's just a Gmail account, but there's a format that no one listens to except a handful of people, but I'll send it to you. And
Beautiful.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Nathan.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
And thank you to the planning board for coming and helping with our tech issue.
Excuse me for a second. Hey, Becky, excuse me, Becky. Can Penny butt in on this and talk with you about something relating to a receipt for a fence?
No, not at this time. I'll talk to her tomorrow.
Okay, I'll tell her.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, well, good night, everyone.
Good night.
see you guys.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Michael.
Bye-bye.
Congratulations, Nathan.
Thank you.
Get the baby
Okay.
to bed.
And Mary David's also been going to conservation.
Melissa, you don't have gray hair, do you?
I might have one or two that are staying, but I'm the
right.
holdout in the family. No, not yet. No.
Mine just.
My
mine just
husband has,
belong.
he was 19.
Oh, yeah.
Well, maybe that's it too. It's blonde, so I can't tell, right? Maybe purple hides it.
Right.
Shall
Do
we head
have more
on
things
to
on our agenda?
administrator updates? Becky, we're kind of heading into that a little bit.
I just have a few more. Tessa, our new land use clerk, has been started to work in town hall a little bit. And Linda's been doing a lot of good training, and I've been trying to source her a computer. And then Linda's helped try to source a computer, but what we're finding is that the computer I purchased in June for the oh, Deacon's got, I can take this off. For the town accountant was about $500, is now $750. And so
That's because,
we're
Becky,
trying
that's
to,
because of remote learning. It's the new
Yes.
toilet paper.
yes,
Well, there aren't any.
Along
aren't
with office chairs.
yeah. So it's become a challenge. We're trying to get her onto a different machine, an old personnel board computer, but the speakers aren't working. It has a camera, but it needs speakers. So working on that, and town hall has been pretty quiet, but we still have a bunch of work to do with the second half of the CARES Act money. We have, you know, through the special town meeting and other things, there's many expenses, just ongoing Zoom costs and computers we've had to buy. So there's another round of the grant coming up in October. And so I need to reach out to our department heads and make sure that if they have any other needs. I know buildings open to the public are much, you know, much higher demand for that. But I don't know if the fire station needs any additional work. Highway, I think, is okay. The schools are both going to get back to me. I do have a number of items from the elementary school, and the regional school says they described they've already spent over $400,000 on COVID-related items, and they have a couple pots of money, so they might not need too much of money from the town. So it's, again, the ventilation projects are the biggest issue right now. And that's all I have right now.
Have you started the ventilation project as far as getting the work started at all? Is it, you know, moving
I'm
forward?
still going back and forth
Installation?
between vendors, making sure, I think I've chosen what I want. I'm just making sure that I have the best price. And I've started working on a bid for the school roof. We can't, my approach is going to be to do a proposal for an engineer first. And then I'll bring that to you and the school committee and the building committee. The building committee has not met since last January. The other issue you all asked me to follow up on was an emergency management meeting. And Walter said he has been real busy, but he is thinking about when and how to do that. And I think that's all I have.
Becky, I just have a question about who spec'd the ventilation systems for the library and for the town hall?
We've been collecting information from different vendors, Marianne. We're getting quotes regarding the air exchange rates and using the specs off the CDC, what they want to see for ventilation standards. And Marianne jumped into this last May and June, so she's done a lot of research, and I'm piggybacking on her research.
So is anybody from the building committee weighing in on this, or I know they haven't met, but.
Nope, not at this point.
Just as an additional comment, it may help our mold issues too, Becky.
That's what I'm hoping.
The humidity.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the unit we have in there is not serving us well in the summer months at all. In fact, I was told it should be unplugged during the summer. And it's been unplugged for 2 weeks, and I don't, you know, I've got to look at the graph, but the first couple of days, the graphing of temperature and mold and humidity hadn't changed dramatically. So
it wasn't really doing anything.
Right. Except using a lot of electricity.
Okay. Anything else that we need to know? Future agenda item, just make sure that the historical commission is on the future agenda and the MOA is on the next one,
Yeah.
along with reopening plans if we want to discuss them.
And I believe we'll be having another conversation with Donna regarding the last executive session. She's gotten additional feedback from Cinda Jones. So they're going to come back with another proposal.
Okay.
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 And Walter had bad news for me just a little while ago about the solar panel had stopped reporting. The inverter wasn't reporting and there was a short. And Walter's reset it. Was that yesterday? I think. Walter.
Yeah, after you called and said that it looked like it hadn't been, producing any electricity, I went in the back and it was showing that it was in fault. I tried, shutting off and restarting it, and it started to go through its cycle, and then it went right back into fault. I went outside to check all the disconnects to make sure somebody wasn't out in the field and pulled one of the disconnects and all that. Everything was good, and when I came back in, I went through the rest of the system and found that one of the circuit breakers in the system, I guess feeding one of the inverters or something, had tripped. It's a 40 amp circuit breaker that tripped. I reset the inverter, and it started working, seemed to be fine. This afternoon, I don't know, it was later this afternoon, I was in back for something else, and I happened to look at it and was in fault again. The breaker had tripped again. So there's got to be something that's causing the circuit breaker to trip and therefore the unit to shut down. So, and I don't know how long it's been doing it, because if you look at the hours that they've been working, there's a lot of hours difference in, and I'm not sure, when they were actually can't really do it because one of them was replaced. I think it was the same one that had gotten hit by lightning before. So it's, the hours, like 9,000 hours difference. So between the two units, so I don't know how long it's been not working. I know it's tied into an internet, monitoring someplace. So I don't know if whoever does that can tell us when it actually stopped working, but it's probably been a while.
Yeah, well, I'll be able to see when I go into the SREC report of production, it'll show when it stopped, but I used to get a notice if anything, if they did stop, and I don't believe we got any notification, so I'll be calling tomorrow and trying to get a repair crew out here
Okay.
to work on it. Yeah, that's not helpful.
How old are those panels?
Those are 7 years.
Mm.
Yep. Maybe 8. The ones at Town Hall are almost 12.
Right.
Yeah. But the others are not as old. But they've had a lot of trouble. Yeah. They got hit by lightning the first year. It was, we've had trouble with those. And so the next meeting is, what we haven't talked about this year is if anybody's going to be going on any vacations or missing any meetings coming up.
Yep, planning on it.
I'd like to. Oh, on
Although I
vacation.
suppose you
No,
could
no,
take
no,
your
no.
computer and remotely wherever.
Yeah, if I go anywhere, I can do it remotely. The only place we might go to see our grandchild again. But
Okay. All right, great. Then we'll just keep moving.
Well, actually, no, I will be on the Cape, actually, the week of October 18th through the 25th. I should make a note of that.
So we'll see you from the beach?
You could see me from the beach with a shark in the background. Yeah.
Okay.
And who knows about any other travel?
I did want to mention that also just working at being at the market on Saturday, there were 4 new people in town, mostly couples, stopping by the market. It's an amazing how many people are moving into town this year. It seems to be larger numbers than usual. And
Yeah, we've done a lot of inspections on new sales, so.
Yes. But the exciting part is people are wanting to find out how to volunteer and, you know, where there are openings. So,
So can we make sure that gets maybe into the newsletter?
Yes.
From our select board report, is kind of repeating where there are openings on boards.
And
Good
welcoming
idea.
all the new people in town.
Or other ways people might volunteer.
yeah, because fire department, all kinds of ways to volunteer.
Yeah.
Yeah, cemetery commission, because pretty soon we might be down to one. So we have one to fill, and then with Janice moving out of town right now, you know, she's on till I think January, and if she doesn't come back in, then she'll be leaving. So yeah, we'll be needing 2 more people there.
Okay, so that's a big one to put on the list. And we're still looking for an assistant collector. Haven't had any live responses yet, but I'm sure we'll find the ideal candidate soon. There was one insurance issue from the school. The commissioner of education has been pushing for teachers to go back into their classrooms with their children and teach remotely from there. Has anyone heard about this initiative? But it turns out almost no insurance company will cover this. And our insurance company, Maya, which is, you know, all municipalities, has said that they would cover it if the condition, but there's $100,000 deductible if the child is injured or if they contract a contagious disease. So that's one of the bigger issues that we were sorting through earlier in the week. Jen proposed a waiver. The Union 28 came up with a waiver, and Donna doesn't find it suitable. It doesn't cover what needs to be covered. So the schools are dealing with legal issues at every turn, and the commissioner isn't vetting his guidance before he gives it to them. So there's a lot of factors that our education system is dealing with, the schools and the teachers. So I just wanted you to be aware of that one as well.
Okay. I have to go soon. I have another meeting. So are we done?
I think we're pretty much done. Does anybody else have any comments they need to make or want to feel to make at all? Anybody? I can't see hands, if there's any hands. All right.
Nobody's raising their hand.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Thank you all for your patience with the technical difficulties.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for
I
work,
appreciate it.
Melissa.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.